Hello, my name is Miriam and I love everything about books. What is kind of funny is that when I introduce myself in English I say my name is Miriam, while actually my name is pronounced as Miriam. I don't know why, the English makes me sound like that. The reason I'm telling you about the Dutch pronunciation of my name is that today's video has a very Dutch topic. Well, not really, but it is because of a Dutch event that will happen next week. Therefore I'm making a video about 5 books that deal with royalty. Next week on Tuesday, the Dutch king celebrates his birthday. I don't know what age he will be. It's something with 50. I thought it would be really nice to show you a video with 5 books about royalty, and when I was looking on my shelves which books I could highlight, I found that there were a lot of books that I could show to you. For example, my favorite book of all time, Left for the King. So I'm not going to count that book towards the 5 books I'm going to show you. And in the end I decided I would pick 5 books that have something with royalty in its title as well. Not just the subject of the book, but also the title. This is part of my 5 books that series, in which I highlight 5 books for just a reason. The first book, I think I have showed you this book before, but I have not told about it. It's a Dutch book, Dutch original by Jan Terlouw, Koning van Katoren. It's King of Katoren. This is such a funny book and I really should read it again this year. It's about a country and the king died 17 years ago and he did not have a son or daughter who could succeed him. So 6 ministers take over the country and they say they will look for a new king, but they do not really look for a new king. So 17 years later there's a boy called Stag, which is not a traditional Dutch name. I had not heard it before I read it in this book, but that boy is called Stag and he decides he wants to become the next king. He was born in a night the old king died, so he thinks he has a chance to become the new king. The ministers are very reluctant because they want to rule the country, obviously. So they make up 7 assignments for Stag. Actually, they don't think he will survive the first assignment, so they say he has to fulfill 7 assignments in order to become king. And those assignments are very funny and well, obviously in the end Stag becomes king of Katoren. This is actually a great book and it has king in its title, only in Dutch. I sort of feel ashamed for showing you the next book. It's The Crown, book 5 in the selection series, and the selection series, it's a sort of guilty pleasure. I know the books are not really great or are not the worst, but they are very bad. But I simply enjoy reading them because, yeah, I don't know, you don't have to think as much. Although the 4th and 5th book were, it felt more like it was fan fiction instead of original content. But it deals with royalty. It's all about royalty, these books, and dresses. And therefore I decided I should highlight it in this 5 book stat series. It's not all about the great books. The next book again has king in its title, The Return of the King, the 3rd book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Do I really need to say what this is about? I mean, almost everyone knows this, right? It's about Middle-earth and it's about the quest to destroy the ring, and there will be a new king. I mean, the title is a spoiler alert for the ending of the book, although the ending of the book is very complicated because the book has so many endings. I have to admit, I saw the films before I read the book, and I knew that the book had a different ending, or at least when they get back to the Shire they have to get rid of Saruman and stuff like that. And when I read The Return of the King for the first time, I felt so bad for Frodo that after everything he had been through, they also had to deal with that. But I think when I read it the 3rd time, I realized that that was actually kind of beautiful, because it taught me that the world will not always be the same. Things change, but also it gave hope for the future that if together you can build up a new world kind of thing. Fourth book is a book that does not have king or something in its title, but the subject of the book is a king. The original title of this series, where this is book 1, is Gods and Kings, so by Lynn Austin. And I actually recently discovered that this is her debut book, and it's the Dutch version of God is My Strength, and it's about King Hezekiah from the Old Testament. And I think these books are really great. I really enjoyed them. I think that the first book is about his childhood, how he got saved from a sacrificial thing, and the first years of the government of King Hezekiah. I'm not sure, it's been a while since I read it, and I always read it as a complete storyline instead of one book at a time, so I don't know what exactly happens in book 1 and book 2 and book 3. I sort of mix those things up. But I think it's a really great series on the Old Testament. And the last book in the 5 books about royalty is Ranger's Apprentice, The Royal Ranger. I mean, that has royalty in its title. I actually mention this series a lot, and this is definitely my favorite book of the series. Now, it's not my favorite book of the series. I don't know. In the Netherlands it's part of the Grijze Jager series, so the Ranger's Apprentice series, but in Australia, where the books were originally published, I think the Royal Ranger is a separate series from the Ranger's Apprentice series, although the same characters appear in that series. But this is definitely my favorite book in the Royal Ranger series, and also one of my favorite books by John Flanagan. The character shows so much depth that is absent in his newest books. Well, these were the 5 books about royalty. And I just realized that I'm wearing the wrong color t-shirt in this video, but I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to film this again. But obviously I should have worn an orange t-shirt. But I do not own an orange t-shirt. I'm sorry, Your Royal Highness. But if you were to see this, happy birthday! Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know, what is your favourite book on royalty that deals with royalty or has king, queen, something in its title? Let me know in a comment, and that might serve as inspiration for me, because maybe you don't know, but I'm actually challenging myself to read 365 books in this year, so I can use some inspiration for books. If you want to follow me on that journey, then consider subscribing to my channel. And as always, happy reading!